facility fee, but then again, the actual cost factor for an ambulatory center is much less than a main hospital. So a 10% difference in reimbursement for the facility still can end up making much more of a profit in an ambulatory center than how things are run in a main hospital.
Yep, that makes a lot of sense to me. Okay, great. That's very helpful. All right, so I want to change gears a little bit here and talk about some sort of knee balancing and knee stability. So we've been hearing from surgeons that balancing soft tissue is one of the sort of major areas of unmet need for these robotics. Do you share that feeling?
Very much. That's the main reason I don't use it. So I do a lot of partial knees, and when you do partial knees, it's actually a little bit more difficult than a regular total knee. And every time we put in a joint replacement, you're trying to balance out the soft tissue. So any kind of navigation and computer can do this from a bony perspective, but what it can't take into account is the soft tissue management. When you do something like a partial knee, very much of that is a feel thing of how I'm going to put this partial knee into this particular patient and make that successful. And that is a lot of balancing not only the bony cut, but that soft tissue component. That's what a navigation or a robot cannot do at the current stage. So for a higher volume person like myself in something like a partial knee, the robot actually hurts me rather than helps me for something like a partial knee. Now, again, using the various technologies, I think in the future that there are going to be ways to balance that out from either, intraoperative motion, different kinds of things, but I just don't know that. But that's one of the problems why currently I have not gone to navigation.
That makes sense. So if there was a technology, if one of these companies developed a technology that improved knee stability through soft tissue balancing, would that be something that you were interested in?
Yeah.
Okay. And if like a product like that existed on, say, the Smith and Navio, the Smith and Nephew, the robot you currently haven't used, would you consider switching to that specific robot in order to use the technology?
Yeah, if it ends up addressing the needs that I have, meaning that if there was the technology that says, okay, I can do what I'm looking for, and this is going to make it easier for me to do various procedures and improve my outcome, absolutely, I would consider using it. But also, it has to really make a big difference because I am for my total knees, I am a Stryker user for the total knee, and I do like that implant. I'm not that. I think a lot of the companies are very similar, but your best outcomes are usually with what you know the best and what you know how to put that in the best. For my partial knees, I am a Smith & Nephew user, so I do, but if there was a technology that really made a big difference from one company to the next, I don't have an issue switching the company because it's not so much of an allegiance to a company as it is what's going to provide that best outcome for the patient.
Right. Yep, that makes sense. Yep. Yeah, so it sounds like you would consider switching only if it really made a difference and addressed the needs that you had, because
Correct.
you have to switch. Yes, that makes a lot of sense to me. Great. So, are you familiar at all with Omni's active spacer?
A little bit of what I read, but that was about it. It's sort of it's like a balancing thing, mostly for the knee, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, but haven't heard too much about that. Okay,
no.
Great. All right, so as we sort of wrap up here, just curious if there were any things that you thought I would ask you about or important call-outs that we haven't talked about yet that you wanted to bring up.